I don't see much more details about the walkthrough the code, so I'm assuming that's omitted part is not important.
Yeah, I think you're right. We need to take some fair assumptions. So the one part is we take the understanding is, so when we see a typical insurance website, so let's say somebody comes, they're not giving proper information, and they say, okay, we have an insurance thing, and we want to introduce blockchain into this, right? So the blockchain, when they say the key feature they want to take advantage of it, if somebody enter their criteria, and afterwards a policy is generated for them, and the codes are generated, the policy has to store somewhere into a blockchain. So then they say, okay, oh, this is the thing we agreed on, and this is basically a kind of a.
That's what I'm saying. I think the walkthrough journey to the code, how many questions they will have, is not important. That can be easily implemented by any developer on the market.
Yeah,
that's the easy part, and they have some of the website that is doing that already. So probably the most important part is to do this implementation or this whatever they are drawing here in this picture, how to change the state of how we deal at the moment. So looking at this picture that they sent to us, I think it's more important to deal with this how we store in blockchain and the possible amendments that will be needed to be done, how we handle that, and what's the validation criteria before storing to blockchain, because we need to think about this process, because if you store to blockchain, it's there, it's forever. You cannot adjust it. So
but if you say, like, it's a good point is you say, like, when some amendment happens, right? So idea is like we are generating a new policy or smart contract.
We cannot really say in the insurance industry there is amendments. There is no amendments. There is a new code straight away, because triggers all the components. From what I heard from other persons, that it triggers the whole process again. So it's like you do again. It's just some of your details change it, and this triggers the whole price and risk assessment. Everything triggers again, because depends on which of your details change it. I assume that the design decision was taken. You don't know where you'll be affected, so they trigger everything from scratch and review whatever comes out.
They reassess them.
So basically, so these components we can still say like a third party for us, right? Let's say we have a mock, we mock them out.
Can you zoom a bit, because I want to be able to read from the screen. So if you see here and raise insured enterprise, what this means by that? Is this a component that will send some data to it and give a like kind of risk assessment component? You give some inputs, you get a coefficient back or some sort of numbers. What is the cyber breach event?
Where this is?
On the right side picture. Yeah, that one.
Oh, cyber breach event, right? So basically, something has happened. Insured enterprise.
So this is another kind of risk assessment component that you trigger some event, then it does something. It's kind of black box for us at the moment. We don't know what we're gonna do, how it's gonna. It's some input, some output.
I think usually some event happens, then maybe a claim kind of thing. Like say they kind of if some claim, some incident has happened, and depending.
There's an incident management down.
Yeah.
So the breach happens. So you're insured for cyber breaches. A cyber breach happens. And
cyber breach event. Okay.
Yeah.
So I didn't actually. Yeah, now it makes sense. I didn't pay much attention of the cyber world. I thought it's just I went to internet and I want it's the name of an insurer. It's okay. So I didn't pay much attention. The reason I noted down two products, travel and cyber, because it to me trigger a point. It's something.
So basically everything. So I think the solution has to come. I don't know, like think in a smart contract point of view is what they expect us, like, we make the whole flow into this and handle it. And so basically the one part is the triggering part is some cyber breach event has happened, and afterwards the incident, like somebody will be doing a remediation, partners and all that, and eventually
But
you claim for some payments, right?
But see, the way I see, even if some breach happen, they won't reassess your insurance at that point. They will reassess it at renewal because they won't. When something happens, when someone stole your car, you don't get your insurance cancel or renewal straight at that moment.
But they will attach something to your policy, right? Some
Yeah,
claim
that's
as
I
well.
haven't attached to the policy. And next time when it's your renewal, they will factor in that and they will increase your premium based on that.
That's the loss adjuster.
Yeah, loss adjuster something. So maybe we need to do the more groundwork. Maybe we need to do some research on the internet.
We need to understand the domain very well and understand very well as well what they meant, because as per this use case that they have here, they look to me it looks like it's just a gateway payment. It nothing to do with insurance, because so to satisfy conversion, this is need to facilitate alter exchange spread. Okay. This last part, because first part is just how to handle the payment dependency to whom you put the right amount, and the last part let me review once again. Some tokens and that's possible. Exchange. No, that's how to do exchange. Must be convert cyber to exchange. Just like I built the man code which this is each. So just point 7 says a bit more about the business details and the domain. So until point 7 is just the dummy app handling the payment according to the dummy algorithm. So to satisfy parties to ability to amend code inputs and way things need a facility to amend each acquisition on the code has on the price. Such changes reflected in blockchain with a facility to add complementary questions. Okay, so it looks like the questions will be stored into blockchain. Okay, this really sounds like a template or a contract execution in blockchain to me. I don't know how you look at that. You may have further experience than me. But right. So do they want all this walkthrough journey to be implemented in the blockchain as any sort of contract execution? Because the reason that I'm saying that it's not really a good idea to store all the question in blockchain or to store in the private blockchain somewhere, because knowing the questions, you can be well prepared when you answer them, or answer in a way to not trigger the one that you don't, the one you want to hide something. So this is one aspect of the business, that this list of questions, the algorithm how to trigger them, it's kind of secret.
So these list of questions is question for like a generating the policy part, right?
Yes, but the way you answer the policy part, it has a direct influence on the premium you are paying.
Oh, so basically, if you go on a public blockchain, then people will know okay what kind of a question response was there, and then the policy.
Then you can tweak. You can answer in a way to not trigger another part, and then.
Because I've seen like even like some people they play with the responses and then some see their different codes are coming up, but they don't know how it impacts on their pricing model.
That's the black box.
Yeah.
And this black box, I wanted to see if this is somewhere, but I don't see any components like give me the codes and I will give you the output. I thought that this insured enterprise, it's actually the component that will gonna say how much you're gonna pay. Premium payments. If you see in the second image, can you scroll up? There is
Sorry.
there's one.
Yeah.
There is a premium payment linked to this component. So I think the way I see that, insurer, the way I see this secret way of, well, according to the question, how much you're gonna pay still will be some outside of this app. We just call them, we give you the answer, the inputs, and they are gonna come back and
Yeah.
say that's the amount.
So code generation is like some kind of a black box. So basically, we collect the person response, we make a call to third party service. Here's a response, and then we get a like codes from that, and maybe the policy is generated. So that's some other system because
Even because they this whole through consists from couple of stages or a couple of parts when you answer these questions, then probably each part you'll have to call that component to say, give me the question for this part, for this guy, and then they will give you the list of questions you have to display. So even the whole through to the code journey, I think it will be a call to a third party app that they will.
that's what they're doing it. So basically, this company they don't have a codes. What they do is they have a facade, right?
Yeah,
They just kind of connect to some third party
connect
code
to one
service.
to that.
That's
three,
what,
four.
so only part is if you see from a blockchain point of view, the blockchain, the salient feature is if something is recorded on a blockchain, you cannot change it. So if any dispute happens, so they say, okay, this is the policy, this is what we agreed on this term, and this is stored on a blockchain. So when if something goes wrong, they can actually take out the contract or whatever the like a policy, and they can say, okay, this is the policy we agreed on. This is a on a blockchain. Neither we have changed it nor you have changed it. Because when a dispute happens, they say, okay, oh, I didn't agree to this.
This is sorry to interrupt. To me, this looks like the only part that will be interesting to store in the blockchain is when they finalize the process
exactly.
to put what they agreed, the contract, into blockchain.
Exactly.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And I don't think
so this whole picture is there. It's like a bit confusing. Like
yeah,
they're centering. It's like I would say it's still it's a process. So maybe this is a process of whole like a workflow. How the insurance events are happening, but eventually, what is the output of this whole process is like a policy that you get it from the third party. You read the new codes done, and then you store that policy into blockchain. Like it could be a like somewhere in a Ethereum, maybe IPFS. We can use that. Have you heard of IPFS?
no.
IPFS is like a decentralized data storage, like. So it's just
that's the dumbest way of doing it. Just store whatever you agreed on somewhere that is verified. It kind of it's it's just stuck there.
So
it's verified. No one changed it yet.
So I would say is we will still go and say, okay, in your process, only element of blockchain we can say is whatever the policy generated out from your response, I put there and dump onto a blockchain.
Yeah.
Like using some BitChain DB and show you whenever needed. This was like you can prove it. Like okay, blockchain, it's like nobody has changed it and the contract is saved in some kind of.
But there is there is one app with legal.
So some companies they hire some kind of a third party services to just store these kind of mutually agreed contract, right? Some like a will service, right? There's some kind of a third party.
Yeah, but I think that we may want to go further with them and propose them something more interesting than just storing this dummy policy on a blockchain. The direction where I'm looking is execution of this smart contract. I don't understand them very well at the moment,
No.
so that I'm more relying on your experience. Whatever is in their process, what we can put as a template and when they, at any point in time or a certain point in time, they can execute this contract and give them the output.
Yeah.
So another thing is that the policy you agreed
I get you.
draw some private data that not really we would like to store it on a blockchain.
Yeah.
So how we handle that?
So the private private data that we don't want to store on a blockchain, I would say we again take a like
Let me
maybe
show
a
you what I saw. This I think you maybe know about it. This open document, like when you, it's similar with the contract. Let me, if you know about it. Let me find it where I found it. Okay, Gmail. Okay, so they have. Open law. Can you search for open law?
open law.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah. Okay. So this is, I think, if on the first stage they're looking something like that, where you can put in you define a template, and all the, can you create small, is there any documentation, legal templates? So there should be 9 test. A very simple agreement. So if you go to legal templates on the left, go for a very simple agreement. Down, a bit down. Okay, this one. So they have some sort of, this is the template, or they have variables inside.
Yeah.
So then what they store there, probably they have contract ID or something, and then when whatever is the case, they just fetch that ID on the blockchain and see, okay, this is the content. This is the public content we have. So that if this is the case for them, I'm sure this is already there.
No, basically, I show you something. So basically,
if we want to handle this part of payment with blockchain and conversion exchange, if this is the target, we need to understand what's the target on this use case. What's the most important thing? The most important thing from whatever information we have here, because the day one use case policy acquisition only, this is kind of just part of the acquisition of the policy. Walk through to the policy, it's some facade, someone else has implemented that. The only thing we need to convert this and implement these two options of payment. Getting the credit card, convert to the token or blockchain, or someone has tokens already and pay with them.
Yeah, but that will be again like issuing our token as well. We need to do that as well. Like, so we need to run a proper contract, right? A smart contract.
That's I think our part.
Yeah. So this is the part. Like one part is we can issue them a tokens. So that comes through a smart contract. So for that's Open Zeppelin, the standard token is there. Second is somebody makes payment, they can still like equivalent of tokens from a service. That will can also come through Open Zeppelin. That part is I think standard, like making payment. The part you mentioned briefly, we gone into the templating thing. That's the interesting part to do that. How to achieve that. So if you see this document like on the machine, so basically I did some work with the advertising client. So they give us this kind of a structure. They say like same thing like with JSON format, where you say contract ID is a UUID, then you have a name and created on this date time, and then different attributes are there. So DSP, SSP buckets, basically they have their values are there, like, and then basically I just ignore some bits are there. The idea is this contract is doing like a two parties. Okay, in this one, what they want to do is like there's a two source of suppliers. They're sending their JSON, and they want to find out which other fields are recycled in two set of data. So there are how many datas are matching, and you can pick up attributes. So let's say you have a one supplier JSON. It gives you data with the 20 attributes. Another give you 10 attributes.
So we need. I don't get it. We need to merge these two JSON coming from two sources.
Sorry?
Do we need to merge these two JSONs?
No, we need to just individually scan for data in both the JSON for a given column. Let's say IP. So you find your IP, and then say same IP is there in both the data set. Then you pick up another attribute. Okay, this, depending on rules, like you making some kind of rule engine, right? And then the thing
they
is,
definitely have this rule engine, but they will. I'm pretty sure they would like to keep this private on outside of the blockchain, because I told you can tweak this and
yeah. But the thing is, if you see the follow the structure, the thing you're saying is same thing insurance thing. We say we fill up a JSON kind of structure. We say this is my policy or my whatever, like what could be like maybe a course ID or something like or something. So we have this contract, right? And then we say, okay, what is the name, when it's created, and what are the terms and conditions. So which are the attributes he has filled up? He filled up this, and depending on what are the values the guy has filled up, it generates basically from the inputs whatever that's being filled up, and this has actually become a source that should be like a flat file dumped into a blockchain for us, like some kind of it's a contract, right? You see what I'm trying to say? Because if let's say if I go there and I pick up out of a 10, I put these responses. You go there, you do your own 5, but it should be the template format should be able to adjust them, all of them, and just kind of fill up the structure and just kind of take all the possible values. If it's not there, that's all ignore, right? And eventually generate a contract for us, and we dump that contract into a blockchain. It's like a BitChain DB, and that is an encrypted format. It's like you get a hash copy back, and you link it to my account. Whenever I need to have some issue, I can still go, and if some dispute happens, it's okay. This is on a blockchain, so no one has modified.
But if it's encrypted, how they will decrypt the content?
Who gonna do it? So you need to have that key. So whosoever want to access the contract, they need to give the hash key. Like we were doing this.
PKI.
Yeah, it's like a public key kind of thing. It's like you dump a data and you get a 1 hexadecimal key. This is your key. So whenever you want to retrieve the data, you give the key to the system, and they will give you your
encrypted. In case the user loses the key.
That's gone. But it's not a user. Like it will be internally managed by our systems, right? So we will store a reference to this contract with a user account, and we keep the key. So whenever we want to show them something, like some audit happens. So okay, here's a contract. What happened? We say okay, fine. Here's your key, and we bring out your contract, and we say okay, this is the contract. We agreed on, and this is stored on blockchain. No one has modified it. If somebody has come, let's say you come and change your conditions, we're gonna give you another key and serially
different versions.
Yeah, different versions, and we can clearly see this was the contract on this one. This is the contract.
But how we can implement in blockchain this versioning stuff? Not just generate them, dump a new contract, but you have to aggregate and somehow them together. Say this is version 1, version 2, version 3.
I think versioning part I would say if we're using this file chain DB, I'm still like a new on that aspect. I think we need to do some.
Can I see file? blockchain.
Yeah, IPFS.
Okay.
Or there's a one element is called BigChain DB as well. It's quite popular. And let me share links on these.
So distributed web.
It's like a yeah.
Blockchain. Okay.
I think
This is also based on Ethereum or a blockchain project.
huh?
This big chain DB, it's based on Ethereum or it's purely blockchain?
It's purely blockchain, right? So it runs on top of MongoDB.
On top of MongoDB.
Yeah, they just done something like that. Yeah. So basically, it's not it's different from the Ethereum like kind of thing. Is all saying is if something is gone in this BigChain DB, it's gonna be immutable,
Mm-hmm.
and you can actually recover it. Like if you want to
That's this sort of kind of private solution for them. Private blockchain is more suitable for them, I would say. But on another hand, the user would like something public that trust is the most important.
do. This code I don't know is talking.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the BigChain DB is a one popular solution for storage, right? And another one is like IPFS.
Just put both of them in Slack and whenever they talk tomorrow, like have a look.
Yeah,
They are flying.
Mhm. Yeah.
Right into the future. Not that far ahead now, though, is it? Thanks to Elon.
So we're discussing about this use case and what we should be doing. So what are different parts are there and how we can implement it. Arthur has kind of raised some, shared his thoughts that maybe we can also pitch in, right? What do you think about it?
So basically, what we have here, and did you manage to go through this document?
Yeah, a little bit, not a whole of it though.
Okay, so the most interesting part is the last page.
Okay.
So the first two are just introduction of what the industry is doing and what. So we have kind of the use case that I do understand we need to do is the policy acquisition only. So when the user want to get a policy, and so basically what the way it's described here. So we have a front end page where the user goes and there are three options: select three products, probably one of them, then walk through to the insurance code. Then at the end there are two options to pay, one with credit card, another with tokens. Then that's pretty it. And then there are a few more details about how we handle, how we credit different party participating in the insurance. One is getting 20%, another 80, and so on. And how we handle the conversion to token, the exchange, and so on. That's how I would summarize like that. So this is repeat. And the last point, point 7, it's about that we need to have the ability to amend the code inputs and different parts, and then need a facility to amend the effect each question and code has on price, such as changes reflected in the blockchain. So whatever changes they do, then should be possible to restore them in blockchain, and need a facility to add complementary questions. But this last point, I don't really understand it, because in this case, whatever we discussed, that there will be a component that will send all the questions and work through the code journey. Then this last point means that we are handling that.
Which last one? Need which?
Yeah, 7b.
But that's, I think, it's just kind of a some kind of UI specific thing, right?
Yes, but the assumption that the discussion that we had earlier, we said that all this question stuff will be handled by someone else. So we will just call them and they will.
Yeah, but eventually, but you need to provide a user interface, right, to capture these complementary.
So the user interface is actually it's the most. So I'll put this way: user interface is very important when we present a use case like that or a proof of concept. So the better we do, the higher chance to win this, to implement further this project. And on the other hand, the part that it's more from technology perspective, the part that's most important is blockchain side, how we implement and connecting to the different gateways, like taking credit card details and getting tokens, then playing with them. So that's from technology perspective, this is the most important part. But I think we have quite a lot of questions on them, especially on this quad walkthrough, and where we store the questions.
So
because if you read the point A, need a facility to amend the effect of each question on the code has on the price. So this means that we will know which questions has an influence on the price. That I doubt they will.
So to satisfy,
like to share this with us.
So we on a 7th point, we're talking about that, right?
Yeah.
So say to satisfy.
This is most business related point. The previous points is just about basic workflow, how you pay on a website.
So basically, there are 3 kind of users of this portal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so one is party 1 is a client,
Mm-hmm.
party 2 is underwriter, and party 3 is like a broker, right?
Yeah.
And they have their own role, and they can use it. They will see their own views. So the 7th point is just kind of mainly for an underwriter, because they are the underwriters. They are the one they control. Like what is code? That's you. The code inputs and the way their ways of weighting kind of thing, and then say there's a facility to amend the effect each question the code has on the price, such changes reflected in the blockchain, right? So if you see one part is, so let's say we forget about insurance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine we're making some kind of questions kind of thing, and depending on what is the way we want to give them a score. So we want to see so first of all, this thing there should be one thing is like we add the questions that should be able to query the policy thing as well, the code service as well. So if I'm changing a question, what will be the pricing for me? Then only I can say, okay, what's the what is each question, what is the impact is having on a code? Because code is again like this.
Yes, I think it's the answer to the question as well.
I think they here probably. I'm still thinking about they would like to have here sort of wizard to say how these questions are linked to the code.
So that's what I'm saying is, so if we have a questions, and these questions, because of course this company is using some third-party service to provide them codes. So imagine this whole course are dependent on some bunch of questions, right? Maybe they give them an advance. Okay, here are the questions I need answer from you, and you just get your own whatever ratings or whatever, and depending on that, you will get a course, right? So if we say a core service is a third party service, and we just kind of from a UI point of view, I'm ordering some different questions, and I collect that question data and pass it to the code service. So basically, if you go to this code service and say, okay, here's my whole dump of JSON response. Give me your code back, right? And once you get a code back, so eventually from your side as well, you have your set of questions. What are the questions were there, and you dump that into blockchain because this is your whatever the policy data or contract data,
Can
right?
you open the link that I just sent? For this sort of project, like proof of concept, I work for HSBC where we've done the CDD project, that's customer due diligence.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a guy that was an architect, and he went the battle with the rest of the floor by presenting a quick proof of concept of this project based on the rules engine. So they had, so from perspective of user interface or being the BA being able to edit this question and do, there's rules that has Excel's decision table. So there in Excel, all these rules can be edited in Excel. So this have the interface for them. That's the UI for underwriter. To that, the quickest path to do that will be through rules and this Excel. So what they will have to do is to import the question to us, and then we have a rules component that will just execute and answer all. They will give us the queries and whatever based on whatever.
So basically, you're saying is we give them this Excel to underwriters.
Yes.
So rather than offering them so you upload they give me two options. One is we ask them to give them a UI base.
Mm-hmm.
Looking, some guys want to do an UI. Second is, here's Excel. You go and put your questions, and this is a standard template is there, and you need to upload that Excel. That's it.
Yes,
we will deal with that.
That will be one. The quickest and default option will be this Excel. What we can do, we can pass this Excel and draw kind of web page to display those questions and give them ability to edit in a nice interface.
I like it. This is a very good point. So basically, the Druze, because we vaguely said we need some rules engine, right?
Yes.
So basically, Druze is a one popular.
But keep in mind that you will replace the whole system that they have. They will move to this one because this will be cheaper. That whatever system they are paying, like SSP, they have a very old and big system for that. If you give them this solution with Excel,
so basically they I don't know what they are doing, because when we probing them, they were not comfortable us to reveal what a system. I said, what is system? What is art? It says what is given to you. This is the requirement, right? Can you guys come up with a solution or some POC around it, right? So it's still like, I met him, like this guy was on the floor. So I'm not probing. I say, okay, let's build something around it. Say, hey, we start doing some development around it, because this is insurance, like it's an industry, right? If they don't do it, we'll approach some other client. So you're doing insurance thing, and we are built right for underwriters. As you say, they can put Excel, and then afterwards we apply the rules thing, and we use a blockchain to store that, right?
So for insurance, I think the questions are quite standard as well. So
no, they have, each of them has their own algorithm. So it's a trade secret.
Yeah,
and
the weightage,
they do different. They're approaching universities to do research, social research, and and come back to them with an algorithm. How can they improve their the profit based on to adjust their algorithm in a way that they come up with new products, with new better question they do have, better money they do. So that's a whole debate in this area. I'm from the Republic of Moldova originally, and I have a colleague, one of my colleagues from university. Her sister is married in Italy. So that Italian guy, someone approached him, and they came in Moldova and approached the Technical University of Moldova to do a research for them to come up with an algorithm to improve this. Okay. That's the whole debate in this area. That's not that the reason I say that I'm not sure they would like to share with us the questions. There is a huge hard work behind those questions.
So they will not. So who will not show the question, right?
We can will there will be some dummy questions shared with us that will put as a proof of concept, but their question, the actual question, and how the flow it is, I have doubt they will share with us.
So let's say we go and pick up one standard website. They offer like this company is I think Trust Fiducia, but they don't. I'm not sure on their website they offer this kind of a thing, right? So one option is you go on a car insurance, confuse.com.
Yeah.
And we can see them. Okay, what kind of a parameters they have.
Actually, for car insurance and all, if you go to any one of them,
life insurance or all this sort, they have separate set of questions. All these questions, and they have I forget how we call them at HSBC. There's conditional questions. If the answer is true, then triggers another whole section.
Yes,
if the answer is false, stops here. So it has a kind of decision tree.
I think the algorithm that you're talking about is based on the collection of answers and
the coefficient on the different questions.
So the weightage.
There is another side of it. Sorry.
Weightage for each question and each answer. Actually, how to change that. I think the algorithm is for that. But the questions are usually, if you see, all of them. Like car insurance, they ask for how long the driving license you have, what is your age, and
so let's pick up a car insurance. Forget about these guys. Like, so we say we want to introduce blockchain into this, like confuse.com could be a potential, like thing. Okay, all we are leveraging the blockchain to store the contract, right? So I assume again these guys have already have the way of taking the questions, right? All they want us to have some kind of way. We provide a plug and play service. Maybe we offer them a web service where after taking the data from these guys and they got some give it to us.
We need to prepare a list of questions, or we need to be smart enough to put question in a way that we can figure out more about back office or more about how the business works in background. Because once we will know more about we can anticipate different stages that we will go after. So if we will provide, if we will design our system in a way that will trigger on their side, what we have on this would like to put all together, this will open another door for us. So potentially we need to. So okay, we need to do a research, I think, about what they do, how they do, what sort of product they are using from the market. Then do a research on those products and see their capabilities. For example, connecting to a web service. If they have any sort of connectors to what a sort of service like REST web service or SOAP web service or whatever, as much as more information we can get, as better for us to design our system.
You see, like I think,
but we shouldn't go such complicated. We need to probably focus more on.
So one is like like enable blockchain, enable like legacy system, like what systems are running. So only way like we plug in like an API layer where you say okay, you can come and provide us your responses or and then you just kind of we can store the contract into a blockchain. Now, what's the values added for business or the customers? I don't know. It's just on a blockchain, right? What are the responses there? The policy copy is like not just on a one centralized place. It's there on a decentralized blockchain world, and where you can recover it whenever you want it, and nobody has modified it, right? Something like that, right? That's only a value like some business can get it. And second, trust. Like, and second is like we provide some kind of a templating structure where depending on what the values are being selected and in our API service, right, we should be able to deal with it, like, and maybe some domain specific language we need to think of how we're gonna come across maybe something like that, and then we can say okay, we can enable your car, insurance business into a blockchain, enabled, like your
Mhm.
policies are there and you can always, amend them and you can give it to us and we can show you whenever you want it.
Mhm.
So this is the one vision I can have. Second is about this token part. So token part and payment part this is pretty standard. Like somebody who wants to get a token from your service, and that is again like a smart contract execution. That smart contract is like Open Zeppelin, right? We can pick up and like this has own token life cycle. It's like ERC20 compliant. So I'm sure the that will not be challenging. Only challenging part is how we come and connect to these existing insurance providers, or we create something from the scratch. The other option is we go and make our own UI. We show some attributes how this is how it works. But let's say existing business, let's say confused.com, they're gonna say, hey man, it's a lot of effort for us. We cannot replace it. We cannot. No, they cannot give up their UI. All they can say is, okay, is it the API interface you offer to us where we can make a call and we make sure our policies are stored in a blockchain world, right? And you give your customer a trust, right? Your policies are there on a store in a, like nobody has modified it, right? You think like this is a API based service could be an interesting endpoint to do this?
Yeah, because the UI, as you're saying, a lot of these big brokers or even big underwriters, it's a big change for them because, say, Aviva, whoever, they have their own different color coding in the UI, the way the questions are, the way the page navigates.
Yeah.
I think everyone understands Excel, so it would be a good approach to give them something like that.
So basically, you say you guys you just put your Excel, but that's you're talking about your the weightings and questions kind of criteria, right? So you want them to store
No,
them as well?
no, the list of questions that we display, they are in Excel, and we display. And if we need, for example, if there is a drop down, depends on what value you store there, we go to Excel, and we go to rules, because anyway at runtime it's not Excel, it's the rule generated rules, and the rules gives us the what we have to display further, additional questions.
But that
Okay.
I think adding rules, if let's say we make a very bare minimum UI, right, and we keep these fields as author is saying, right, it should be fine for us. Okay, here's your set of questions, and here's a format in Excel sheet. You can put your questions, right, and once you submit it, we're gonna give you a code, and then afterwards everything will be stored on a the whole contract will be generated for you from your response, and it will be stored on a blockchain, right? We need to do some more research around it. Maybe some existing companies are they doing anything like that?
So there is, I found something like that about blockchain, what's currently on the market, but it looks like it's pretty of stuff. Did you see this picture before?
Yeah, I've seen it. I think someone put on a Slack as well, right? Did you see that?
I don't remember me putting this on file, but so confused.com is using JSON, it's a REST API. So probably JSON and REST API, it's a good option for us to go to implement the backend.
Mhm.
And
So this is the one paper on PwC, right? This is blockchain in insurance, right? So they're saying subrogation, policy placement, claims management, right? So how could we apply it to any of our clients exploring blockchain potential to disintermediate, increase speed and reduce cost while resilience is
can you share this with us?
yeah.
Looks like a good stuff. Blockchain insurance.
But they do want a landing page. Enrolls in the service, a wallet is created.
There's another blog use case I've got is the advertising one, and that one is the requirements are clear.
This one is not clear.
It's because this is the way it is. Like this is like the draft is given to us. But other one, a company has done the full research. They even engage us.
They know what they want. This one they don't.
This
know
one, like because they know they're already using a like website. They have a code service, and they say, okay, there's a
If
value.
you try to open the, can you try to open from the first page? What is it? Cybersure.online. Try to open this URL.
Okay. Okay, so okay.
So their website is not even set up.
I don't know. Maybe they just kind of there's a domain they want to have it.
If you do search for Cybersure, do just Cybersure.
Yeah.
Without online. If you go for cybersure.com,
I think .online is their company. LinkedIn is already.
this is what I got. So there's nothing more about them. But this looks like a very old portal and not really. I'm not sure where they want.
Yes.
Yes, Bola, Cybersure. Why we're not hearing you? Yeah, I am.
It's just kind of kept some mute mode. I don't know. They were, yeah, he just says like I'm listening to you guys. Also, there www cyber
Yes,
show.
no, guys, I'm here. I'm listening to you guys. I was on mute before. I was on mute before.
Okay, let's see WV. The same page.
Yeah.
So
they have got like 2 followers, whatever. I don't know. So I haven't done this kind of research on them, but they are based in like these guys, whatever the guys. There's the Trust Fiducia, right? They're based in third floor over here. But I find them, when we had a meeting with them, so when we asking questions, they're like, I don't know, you're a blockchain, you just sort it out. You guys made a real
it
like
be a very difficult customer.
Yeah, and that's like
So what do
they do not know and don't want.
So what do they want to achieve?
So they say like this is the one hedge fund, and they wanna if they enable the blockchain in this, there's an insurance industry, right? They're selling cyber insurance. So I was asking them, what is your platform, and you're selling already cyber insurance. They say we don't own it. We connect to some third party service. Somebody fill up the data, we give them a quote, and they buy it, right? And they're selling to different companies.
They kind of reseller.
Reseller kind of thing, right?
Broker.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it's like a reseller, a broker. Still, like we just kind of connect into a.
So the trouble that I see already with this sort of client, they do not want to invest time to figure out and collaborate with us more, to give us more details what they want. So with this sort of clients, it's very difficult to guess what they want.
So there's another client in advertising project. Maybe I can discuss 2 use cases and we see, what do you evaluate, right? So this one we have spent some time. Let's another one. So this one is basically a company. So this is a problem they're trying to solve it. Let me open a PPT, right? Okay. So they approach us. Basically, it's like quite good work, I would say, maybe fascinating work. So in this one is they say we have a data coming from advertising data. You can imagine advertising data. Their impressions they call it, and they're coming from 2 sources, and this is coming in a Amazon S3 buckets.
Mm-hmm.
And then afterwards, if you say they ask us to build a matching engine, right? So if you realize the data from suppliers, you'll have a different data model,
Mm-hmm.
and the data that's within the supplier data will be UUIDs, integers, floats, whatever like this. So imagine like some kind of JSON with this kind of information is there. And they say we need to match data between suppliers. For example, within a data schema, we'll have a JSON namespace so we can identify the same data between the different data sources. For example, a page domain in two different suppliers would look like this. So if you see there's a supplier one
Mm-hmm.
and the data package one,
Mm-hmm.
so this is supply.publisher.domain.
Mm-hmm.
Same data coming from another supplier could be having a like impression hyphen page domain. So they represent the same kind of a data value, but their naming can be different.
Mm-hmm.
But the data is coming from two sources. So for example, same thing like English and like a German, right? So like one is like you see this is the definition this supplier one has it, another one has the same thing in an impression page domain. Now this is a big data. It's not a small data. It's coming in a lot of big data kind of thing. They're coming impression feeds on the places. So so basically what the thing is the thing they want us to develop is so matching of these kind of a keys.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say key one in a one JSON, or key two is another JSON, but the values are matching depending on a criteria, the rule I specify. So somebody will write a contract or write something like this. First of all, give you a query. So let me see, can you search something where this supplier data, this IP value is there, another supplier, they have the same IP. So the problem they tell us is the real problem is, let's say BT got a budget of 5 million. So BT goes in the media budget and they find different suppliers and they kind of give them they sell this media budget and they come back and they say, okay, here's my data and impression, right? So depending on what are the lead or what are the impressions they come, the BT has to pay it. But there's some fraud happens. So what they do is the different suppliers, they recycle the data among themselves. So basically, there's a data in a one supplier. So what he will do is he has the same IP, everything is same. And when BT says, okay, hey, this is a valid lead, right? Have come to you. So they will find someone else is also reporting a same set of data.
Mm-hmm.
So they internally they actually doing a fraud and they're selling leads. So they're like, I'm selling five.
The same data or
the same data is being recycled. So they want to detect it. And there's a huge problem in advertising industry. So I see in Facebook and LinkedIn, because the problem in these kind of places is on Facebook, like it's very difficult to analyze from where the lead is coming from, where it's happening. So they came and approached us. So they say one thing is they want to revolutionize this whole part of matching part. Secondly, they want to create a contract out of it. So basically, the contract definition is so they call it like so I'll go further down. Let me see. I show you something. This is the high level diagram. So supplier one, supplier two. So there will be multiple suppliers, and they will be coming different buckets, and will be coming a data matching engine.
Mm-hmm.
And then afterwards, they want us to create a result of these, matching thing into basically in a JSON and produce as the output. So if you can see truth supplier one, supplier two, and then they should obey our contracts. So client.contracts.client one. So basically, whatever the matching pattern has to done, it has to be come under a contract.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, I will further go maybe more clear with the data, right? So if you go further down, this is a typically example of a like a contract. So this contract says within a contract there are a number of data points, but the key one are the suppliers and the threads are matching rules. So they call it. So there's a section they specify partners. Maybe we can do it in a better way, but I think this is the thing came from there, right? So they say. So the different partners are there. So there's something. There's a contract happens with a party. So the suppliers they have some kind of contract. So basically,
So the suppliers are the advertising outlets, are they?
so
The source.
So is that
social
like
data.
Facebook, Instagram? Are they
Yeah, yeah.
suppliers?
Yeah.
And the client would be, I am Nike.
Yeah.
And the agency is providing the
Agency.
marketing for you.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Do you want to swap seats? Sure.
It's okay.
So, yeah, this is the agency, and they see, if you see, so from an advertising domain point of view, I have a vague knowledge, but I say, like, they specify what is the commission structure. So commission, if you see this area, there's a commission. What is the type? It's a fixed / CPM or percentage. So you agree on a contract. So when your supplier comes to a media buying, like something like this, media buy, so they agree on some certain rule, the criteria. So what is my thing? What is the amount and something CPM, something I'll agree, and this is the currency I should be paid, and this is my data is lying there, impression. So they say, so they have this kind of a contract structure. So they will capture it into a contract. The different suppliers, they have it. They will actually formulate it, like they will write this, the contract structure. This is what the agreement with you. So idea is you want to store this contract into blockchain. So what happens is these companies, so first thing, they want to real time detection of these frauds. So when they turn on the whole campaign, what happens is they find out after running the campaign and then whole money is wasted, some fraud has happened, and the thing is it requires so much effort to prove it. So when, let's say, some audit happens, so they kind of they just say, okay, there's like a fraud going on. Somebody is,
Of course, your insights say that you win 1 million from this campaign run, you get normal
even-
nothing.
even
A lot
personally-
of questions
So-
from top to down will be raised.
So basically, in this advertising world, even I understand the Google, like there's a like Google AdWords and AdSense, like some guys that still do a fraud, right? Somebody do a false clicks, So I sometimes when I run a campaign in a 1 hour, you can lose 250 quid, like.
Yeah.
And you say, like, what's happening, from where the clicks are happening?
You're too popular.
No, it's just kind of you buying an ad and somebody is just they're burning out.
Yeah.
You go on as a Twitter, they have to just do their job and say, like, clicks are happening. But there's a real element of a part is you should want to know what was the identity of person. They never reveal it. They say, okay, some click, whether it's converted is your choice.
Yeah.
So the overall, this is the big stuff. So basically, then afterwards they say the matching thing. So matching rules is around, they form some kind of a threads. So they call it, I think it will be more clear. I'm just talking about the first time, so don't bog down with.
Yeah.
So basically, but it's very interesting. So when I did this one, I designed the whole matching engine for them, and I find this one is really fascinating project, right? But somehow the company, they got busted, right? So the truth, the company,
You broke them.
I was after it, right? So I told them, like, so they just kind of designed it and they got busted because they were not able to implement it. So I tell you the story. What happened is they got a funding and they wasted around 50 grand in Russia. They hired a company to do it and they engaged me with the other guys, and they just screwing up the whole money, right? So they're making a Python, like a data, this whole thing, and they just came to me very late, right? So this is not happening, and we have some money, and this company, they're not able to build it. That's why they engage us. And it took me around 2 days to build the whole prototype using Elasticsearch and Kibana. All I heard in my mind, there's some Elasticsearch Kibana is there. When I told them, why don't we use a Kibana for doing this? And they said, like, what is Kibana? Elasticsearch. We don't know about it. And the one company and already taking 50 grand in Russia just to build this bespoke, like a panel and all that. This guy was showing.
Kibana?
No, he was.
Russia didn't build the.
No, so they didn't build the Kibana. They were using a Python, some kind of custom thing for them. They were saying, we're building the software for you, matching engine. And he's a very naive code. He's not connected to S3 buckets. So he was just running out issues. So when I got there, I was like, S3 buckets.
For this is
for Java guys, S3 bucket, we can do that. So he was doing a Python, and it was not working out. And he was just saying, okay, no reports are coming, and he done something. So I gave a demo. I'll show you some more things. I built it using this. But the moment we gave a demo, after 2-3 days, in 1 week, they lost all of the funding because the whole money was there. But I like this concept. And this one is Insurance is the prospect, but this one, if you build that, that's really a need in the market. So I think insurance is I'm building some kind of thing like this. Again, insurance can be demand, but this is really a requirement because somebody has to do it. The matching part is very interesting. So basically, when the supply data, if you see this, so this is the rule. So good part is
So the matching part is the problem with that is that you have to do the mapping. If you don't do the mapping, then you have to do machine learning from that. Otherwise, no way to do it properly.
so good news is the matching part we have done it.
So you done it for a defined structure.
So
So the structure is known
so
up front.
so basically the structure is we say this is the one supplier.
Mm-hmm.
So supplier one, they're gonna specify us their keys over there,
Mm-hmm.
and they're gonna look up these key elements.
So you have the mapping of where supplier one, what is matching in supplier two.
This will be given to us.
Oh, okay.
How you
this
gonna match?
is given.
Okay.
So we have two
Okay.
suppliers. Only thing will be different is if you understand a technical word, two set of key values are coming, columns values are coming. Somebody is giving the column definition. This column match to this column. The name could be different. So for example, one data set they have an impression underscore ID. However, another one they said it called impression dash ID hyphen ID. If you see, I'm highlighting from here. You can see this one, right?
Mm.
This is the one definition, and this is the impression underscore ID.
Mm-hmm.
So this is you write it. So basically, you say, okay, here's my namespaces, here's my columns, and what kind of matching I can do. However, this is still like not completed. Like we've done a very basic matching. They want us to do a pattern matching as well, regex kind of thing. Can we do a like a regular expression like kind of thing like, and then afterwards we say when we just kind of done the whole matching, we show them how many matches we found like this,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a report has to be shown on a real time. So basically in Kibana, if let's say that when they run the campaign starts, we just on the real time to process the data, apply the Kibana and show them visually. So I have one diagram I'll show you. This is what it looks like in IP based matching, and they can stop the campaign because two suppliers, because data is coming from them real time, they have to submit it. So they are asking them, okay, can you guys push your data as well in real time?
But I think that they won't be interesting much in part of seeing in the real time rather than on the final results.
Sorry?
They will be interested more in the results of the data. How much is
But the result is
broken.
coming real time, isn't it? Matching. It's like.
But I think there will be set of data. So give me the clicks from this period of time,
Yeah.
and we want the assign for whatever criteria there.
Yeah, I think that's the real time is a real thing, right? So basically,
So real time, but see, this real time you have to tie to a period of time.
so I use Kibana. So
that's
basically,
the beauty of it.
and we just use it like Kibana. I'd say like there are two set of a data set, and we just kind of showing visually like what is the duplication. It's like it was really it's just like a dashboard.
Yeah,
The eyes just came out of it when I gave a demo, and we just took 2 days to build that. Right? I was like, okay, we use a Kibana Explorer, and we show them this is the IP, this is going there. This is exactly we need. This is what we're looking for that. And it's like, and they just spend like 60 grand or 50 grand of money. They hired company in Russia, and they just couldn't deliver it, right? And they got
no, they delivered in command line Python. That's not what the hell was looking for.
Yeah. So the thing is, if we kind of build one part of this is the matching engine, this complex thing. If we are able to build like a matching engine, I think it could be used in many other industries as well. As long as like you have two set of data and coming in real time, and we just kind of matches using Elasticsearch and Kibana. That's the one part. Second is like we need to store these contracts in a blockchain. So when the dispute happens, that's the way they want to prove it. Okay, here is the contract, we agreed on that, and this is like basically your terms and conditions.
I don't understand this part with the contract. When the contract is signed, at which stage this contract is implied? Because the way that I do understand, so there are two suppliers of marketing data. So I have an agreement with them. Okay, you guys supplied this data for this period of time. So then once you give it to me, then I'm paying you for that. That's the way I see it. Is it happening in a different way?
So basically, this is JSON from Sonobi, right? So there's a example, right? So there's a Sonobi is a one. I don't know, call it in there what DSP, SSP, right? I know. So they have these are the JSON. This is the value from there. So they have a different feeds, like basically either ID or IP, like for example IP, right? This is the one area, and there's an Aboset, another supplier. So basically, they also have a IP value somewhere like this. So all we need to know is there will be multiple suppliers like this. So we need to get their the keys, whatever.
Yeah, but there is one trouble. If you are trying to match by IP, so if I am behind NAT, you'll see the same IP in probably while we work outside.
Well, that's fine. So basically, it's not just an IP. So the thing is, there will be other attributes as well. IP is just in one criteria. They want to have multiple criteria. So they can prove it. This guy has really recycled it. And sometimes they're not very smart. So basically, they have other criteria. You have an ID, then you value, like, I don't know what kind of rules they want to create. Maybe some device type or some. So they have some ways of more multiple criteria. So IP is a one criteria. Then on top of that, they want to build up more criteria, multiple criteria, and then they prove it. How much data? Because of course they are paying for it. So they say, oh, this data is coming. This guy is claiming same data,
paying a lot,
and then they say like, okay, so we pay you money, so we want to understand there's some kind of dispute or some kind of a.
But they don't have any sort of disclaimer. Okay, we give you this data, but what's the accuracy of this data? Or what's their sort of contract with the suppliers? Because they have this data, but how accurate is this data? Or okay, I don't understand the intention of recycling, just changing the attribute name or put underscore and split it in somehow.
No. This is already defined. The bit underscore IPv4 is their definition of a data. Their system generates the data and they share with us. This is like a domain specific. Aboset has their own thing. Only thing is the value part. So value part should match from the other supplier. That's where the impressions are matching. So we know, okay, when I get a data from you, this is your structure and your structure, this and eventually the JSON, and I want to specify which keys I'm going to apply the matching. And that's what we agreed on, like what kind of a criteria should match. And if there's a matching is there found, I think in the contract part
basically someone like simple example, two suppliers, one will say last name, one will say surname.
Yeah.
And then value will be the same. And so we match, okay, I need to take the value from surname and last name. And is the value matching? Isn't it?
Yeah, so basically we just kind of so basically the value matches. That's where the recycling of. So the thing is, what my friend is in the advertising industry, right? He runs the agency, right? So he tells me people do a lot, even like somebody in a bark.com, right? Have you heard of this website? Bark.com. So bark.com is one of the lead generation website, and
Bark?
BARK, sorry. BARK, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a dog bark, right?
Oh, okay, Bark. Okay.
Bark.com. So this is one of the website. They provide a lead generation. So basically, so somebody like looking at mortgage inquiries, right? So one of my known, he's a broker. He was telling me, so they recycle data is coming. Then some other also websites start sending the same data, and they say like what's going on because so basically they're selling the data. Like leads are being sold. If somebody, it's a lead thing, right? Somebody is interested in buying a car, he's interested, right? You take his lead and sell it to many people, like any software business, anything. But they want to find
you get lots of spam.
Yeah, a lot of spam.
So, but the thing is, in this world is when somebody is agencies are buying, so they have internal kind of somebody is doing the scam. They say, okay, here's the data. They fill a form system. It has come and it goes through a file. In the end is they present it to this. This is the impression we have got it. But they say, no, we already have this impression. I to be honest, I really need to understand in depth how it happens. But technical point of view, I can say is there are two set of data. All they want is they say who's recycling the data across these two JSON.
Mhm.
the keys are not same, the values are same. And if you can detect them in real time, here's a selling use case.
But still, how do they know that which one of them or which of the suppliers is recycling it? Because one of them.
Timestamp.
Okay.
So basically,
Oh, yeah.
somebody, I think, yeah, the one criteria I remember I'm talking is a very good question. So somebody said, okay, in timestamp, you find in another 1 hour or 30
Yeah, I
minutes.
wanted to suggest
basically
you
some
take
kind of
each
a-
field from one set and look for that value in the second set. If you found there and try to match them.
So basically, they say like, what is
data.
what is in a 1 hour range or 24-hour range? So they know who got the first. The person who got the first, he's the real one. Other one, like recycling the data. And then they can say, okay, look, your leads are being recycled, and going to pay you.
Will the same supplier recycle it? Like 24 hours
They
later?
couple
They will
of
send it
friends
again.
sharing the data
So,
between
so this is maybe they're doing it. So the thing is, they really want to build. There's no intelligence. They say like they have a supplier. They ask for a JSON. This is what this company was building it. It's like a disruptive thing, right? They say like, oh, we don't have it, but they ran out of fund. The thing is, another money is spent on some. They were making some token as well, personal like a they say truth token. I think they were so money they spent. I was reading a book. So they actually put a chapter on this. They were talking about some guy, author. So they given money here and there. Like so, in the book he mentioned about it. So like a company like a truth, they're coming with a token where your personal identifier will be maintained. And I was shocked to see this company. The author has written about them. So like how much the money they spent here and there. Like, some big author, like he mentioned about some revolutionary things that are happening disruptive. So he mentioned about truth data token. So they think their vision is like even like an advertising world. They say in a blockchain world we will be having tokenize your identity. So you will decide which ads you want to see as a token, and you will get some tokens for looking at the ads, right? And they were building something a truth. I'm not clear like what kind of is like truth identity about you. And say like, okay, you can decide like who want to see, which ads you want to see. Depending on the ads you want to see, you will be paid as a tokens, and you can redeem it. So like nowadays, Facebook decide, right, and they just serve you random ad. But let's say you decide when I want to see the ad, and when you're looking at ad, the company is paying you for looking the ad.
Okay.
Anyway, so now we discussed kind of a two use cases of the advertising one and the insurance one. Both have their this one advertising one looks my point of view is more complete because the requirements are clear. Technical point of view. If let's say, but again, it may not be related to blockchain, right? Real time, ELK kind of thing.
But from my view is that I'm here for blockchain, so I'll pick up who is doing more blockchain.
Yeah.
So that's my with the whole concerns about the insurance, but in my view, it's better if you do insurance. So there is more blockchain involvement.
Yeah.
But I'm honest with you.
Yeah.
I'm here for blockchain. So
no, that's what I'm saying.
This one is also interesting.
Yeah.
But it's less blockchain involvement.
In this one is like basically only part blockchain is there, but not much. You show the thing on a like basically blockchain world, right?
So probably we'll need to work hard and do more research because from what you are telling about these guys, they're not willing to invest much time.
So I made the design for them. How will we interpret design? So basically, in the end, like only part is I came over here is they like, for example, some contract builder process and more threads and all that. Then builder process dump data into.
But
and the result.
Think about that. This when you say contract, you mean contract of each set of data?
Contract of a
or between suppliers.
Between suppliers.
Oh, okay.
So basically, if you see suppliers, so for example, if you diagram supplier 1, supplier 2, and then we have supplier n, right? Different data is there. They're putting the data in S3 buckets. Then we take a thread. So we say we define threads. So supplier 1, auction ID, and blah blah blah. Then another thread is there, and from there we are basically have multiple threads are defined depending on in a one contract, right? We're writing, and then we just kind of build a contract out of it, contract builder process. and then we dump that contract builder into a big chain IPFS. That's the one element. Second is when we getting matching the results, we want to send them out of an email as well, and we want to put those results into a big chain like a IPFS as well, so that we know this is what we did and this was the summary of that. But again, that was the next level of enterprise. Like we were offering about it and we were making design, but they got busted. But I also agree with you. The insurance one, we need to do some work, but it's more blockchain thing. Like there's the token economics part as well, and there's a part of element. Yes, how to think, enable a business who's already insurance. We enable a insurance thing into this. Maybe we have to think of API point of view. Maybe we need to start like.
I think I would say let's spend some time and do the research and see how the company are doing this in the market. I mean, to understand better the domain and how it works. That picture we have here is quite simplistic. Probably there are different sort of products. I recommend you to see. Let me see if SSP has any design published about their product. SSP.
So once we started, I can definitely go and speak to them as well, because I know our team started working on it.
I think we need to do a bit of homework before going to them.
SSP? What is SSP?
I work for them.
Okay, I think I was doing advertising. There's a DSP, SSP, right? So.
I saw SSP on you and I wanted to ask you, is this what insurance?
I said, you go with SSP.
SSP worldwide. Okay, so this is the guys that it's red there. So this is
oh, insurance software. Okay, that's good.
So that's the guys. They have a very old and robust product about all sort of insurance apart from life insurance. At that time when I used to work for them, they didn't have at that time motor insurance. I did the part to submit the car details or the insurance details to the police. So there's a need communication. So probably we need to look SSP for brokers. That's kind of back office system that they are selling for insurance companies. So we probably need to do some research around this company, what they offer, what products around this area. And once we understand better how this insurance domain works, we may come back and ask the right question to them.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. We do our research, and because I was asking my CEO today as well, like what's happening with this insurance thing, right? And they were saying, okay, show us some tech stuff, so maybe we can document something, show them some kind of a diagrams, right? How are you gonna do that? Because straight away jumping into coding, we should be asking some questions.
No coding for next week or two. Because if we jump coding, we will miss the requirement part.
Yeah.
So I would say let's spend more time on the requirement. Once we better understand what they want, then we build it.
Yeah.
Because starting coding something, yeah, we can code, that. But it's really, we need to listen careful what they want.
Yeah, and if let's say, I would say they are very difficult, right? Say.
What you say, straight away it will be a bit challenging to communicate with them. But we can do better our side, and the final we can get expected results if we really want that.
I think it's a good idea. We can do our research, and if we come up with a very basic, use.
So
and because they're close by.
We do our research. We find out what's from our technical on whatever we manage to research. And we say, okay, guys, we ask a couple of questions to drive in the way we want, and see if they're happy to communicate and do their homework as well, like we did. If this works, we move on. If we hit the wall again and again every time we ask questions to them, then
that's the worry and that's the risk.
That's the risk. No, we try.
Do they know? Do they know? Do they know what they want?
Yeah,
that's the main question.
Do they have the expertise to understand what it is to articulate?
So we can rely on ourselves to articulate it, but after we do that, we need to have to see the openness on their side to work with us. Otherwise, it's
I think
loss of
insurance domain
energy.
is quite big, right? So whatever we have got is good enough for to make a
Big
start.
market.
Mhm.
So we know these are parties.
Yeah,
and
that's
all,
the
and-
reason I am saying let's us do our homework better and do research, because this is first stop, I would say, with them. Probably if we look around, we may get other ideas and move on to a next
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah.
So that the thing that they don't want to collaborate much, it's one part. We have a reason to say no in the future to them.
To be honest with you, there's a requirement. I think some specific thing I visualize is like for looking at this guy, the matching engine, the insurance thing. There's a scope of making some kind of a contract like template kind of builder process where like in the future if somebody want to put things in a blockchain.
If we want to go that area of back office, what these SSP guys are doing, because of that problem, there is a problem with these guys. Their system is quite big and expensive, and they lost a client in the period when I was there because of in order to onboard someone at that time it used to be like a period of 6 months or more time to adjust their system to their specific client needs. That was one problem. And the second problem was their system is too heavy. The client wanted something more lightweight, less expensive, of course.
Of course. Yeah.
That's another way to say it.
So you
So-
microservices, yours as well, microservices.
So the reason I showed the Excel sheet and stuff. We can start with doing this Bitcoin or blockchain part, but we can keep an eye where we can expand, because blockchain part just store there and this gateway payment stuff will do it quite quick. But if we start this journey, I'm pretty sure that we will have another plans.
Yeah.
Let's put it
Yeah.
properly.
Yeah. I get you. Sounds good. Bola, you want to say something?
He's in listen mode today.
Yes, I'm still here. I'm listening. I'm listening to everything that's going. I'm listening actually. So I'm listening.
Okay.
I'm listening.
So you.
I've got nothing. Yeah, I will look at all the sites you guys sent on the chats. I'll look at them.
I know. Put all the ideas there.
Because what it is, I haven't got much knowledge of the insurance sector. You understand? So I have to kind of educate myself. Are you with me?
I think today we just thrown ideas, and no one knows how to articulate it properly. We just throw whatever ideas. It's kind of brainstorm session we done today, and
Okay.
probably we'll have to do research more about it and try to articulate this idea and something more.
I think from my thing is I was also guessing the insurance is the more close to the blockchain. Advertising came because the only thing is the client, right? It's like when I had a meeting with them, it was very difficult. They were thinking we are not going to disclose anything. Imagine like this, you have to build something on your own. How are you going to come on blockchain and do it?
That's
what part. Yeah.
That's
Maybe like you were saying. They don't know what.
Yeah.
One part is they don't know.
Are there specific areas of research that you want us to look into as individuals and then come together again, or what do you think?
Sorry?
Specific
Are
area.
there specific areas of research you want us to look into, and then decide how we're going to move forward with this one, or what?
I would say at the beginning, let's look everyone.
The insurance blockchain companies, how they're doing it.
Yeah. Let's look everywhere, and let's do another round, another round of brainstorm ideas. What we saw more in or on Slack.
Slack, you put your inputs.
Yeah.
And then we can see if we have something to start and see. I think there is one part is like surely like if you go around like insurance blockchain companies, Medium, there's a lot of articles in there. People are already working on it.
So we need to see what others are doing as well. Huh?
Yeah.
And
okay.
We need to see a way to overtake them.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Okay. Very good. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, Bola. I
Cheers,
think
Bola.
it's time.
Okay. Nice. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. See you next week. So you're coming to London sometime soon, or are you usually there in Birmingham?
No, what it is here, I started this new contract and it's in Wolverhampton. You understand? So coming to London is a no go for now.
Okay. No worries. I think as long as you
Unless people go on a Saturday, but I don't think so. On late Friday.
Okay, that's fine. No worries. Okay.
Yeah. I'll be joining online for that. It's okay. Don't worry. I'll be fine.
Okay. Take it easy. Thank
Cheers,
you.
Bola.
Bye.
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 Yes, bye. Bye.